So sugar, the bitter truth, everyone, the bitter truth of sugar. Now, the inspiration behind this, again, I've spoke about this before, the bitter truth of sugar, and I wanted to say, like, it's during that inspired me, but, it's motivated me to look a quite bit further, a little bit more further about the truths about cortisol levels, how it lowers sugar, lowers cortisol levels, your stress hormone, and it's something on the side of mental health, of course, and it is definitely a major thing. You won't see anyone talk about this. I mean, I might be one of the first. I'm just saying. I don't know who. I mean, maybe I haven't looked deep enough, but I mean, I haven't really seen anyone talk about this. I mean, most of the things I see Durian speak about is for like your average person, but I mean, we got the big pharma. They help treat mental illnesses with, medication. But the truth is, you can really combat a lot of that, with eating correctly and treating your body right. I mean, this is huge, and I'm just gonna show you right now what I'm talking about. So, obviously, sugar can suppress the cortisol hormone, and sweetened beverages. I mean, cane sugar juice, fruit, is it all low fat, like zero fat, virtually. But yeah, for sugar fruits, I mean, the goal is to eat as little fat as you can, but if you do feel you're getting a bit slim, like, well, Durian's mentioned this before, you can just bulk up on the fatty plant-based foods, but, avocado and whatnot, but depends on your activity level, of course. But, yeah, I mean, look at this. So, sugar is proven, according to this, research study, that it does lower the cortisol, the stress hormone. But here's where it gets even more crazy. I mean, before I did talk about something similar, but here, look at this. So keep these mental health problems in mind. Anger, anxiety, bipolar, personality, depression, look at all. I'll just scroll through all of this. So when you take a look at this, I'll just give an example. But, I mean, I almost do want to go through every single bit of them. But, let me just tell you right now. So, bipolar, I'm going to try a different one. Bipolar, mental illness, all mental illness. I'm just going to go with depression, higher cortisol. I'm just going to show you this for example. Yeah, so elevated levels of cortisol for depression. Let's go schizophrenia. Watch this. Schizophrenia. I looked this up before. So, look at this. Systematic, again, you'll see the same thing. But my problem is like the big pharma wants to persuade people to go get medication, but there definitely is a natural way. Like, it is going vegan, and I really do feel like, even though you have if you have like a fast metabolism, I mean, there's no escaping anything. I'm just saying, I mean, my mother's a cardiac nurse, and I will tell you from what she said to me, she's seen patients, I mean, they've been skinny Asians, like that, but, they consume, a normal diet, I mean, a normal lifestyle, and they, of course their metabolism is higher, but, that doesn't mean they aren't vulnerable to any kind of disease when they eat the meat, dairy, and, I mean, anyone can be affected, either if it's going to be insulin resistance in your external, but it can be internal also. So that's, I mean, I haven't really seen Durian Rider speak about that. I mean, sometimes it is metabolism, but the thing is, there is an exception, and it doesn't mean you're not vulnerable to getting, cardiovascular disease problems or the patients my mother deal with is these skinny Asian people. I mean, yeah, they eat, they're slim, but even if they eat the standard diet, They can still, I mean, they had cancer, but cancer can either be self-inflicted or it's just genetic. But if it's genetic, it can still be treated with a low-fat vegan diet, or lifestyle. I don't like to call it, a lifestyle. I'll say that. But really, the biggest truth is people have to. The people that have the cancer, they want to go to radiology and all that, but I just think it's terribly unnecessary because people have to suffer through that. But like the food you can eat for wellness too. I just don't understand why people don't make this common knowledge. It's absolutely crazy. Like, if you look up every single mental illness on that list I just showed you, it will show you each time that they have higher cortisol levels. So if you have prolonged consumption of sugar or on fruit or high sugary foods, low fat, then realistically that can really treat symptoms. You can't. Well, I don't know. I don't think you could cure mental illness, but you can. If you do have a problem mentally, then you can definitely eat right, and it would improve your symptoms. But your doctors want to label you as this and that, but I really do feel like it can treat symptoms, or even possibly cure, or doctors don't want you to believe that it is curable. But I really do think this is a big breakthrough, and it's crazy how it's not common knowledge. It should be, if this was all common knowledge, I know Durian's been in the business for over 20 years, but if this was common knowledge and people just accepted it and did it and tried it for themselves, the obesity rates in United States, Australia, United Kingdom would all plummet to virtually down to almost no obesity problems. So it's it really just shows you. Nothing's changed over the years. So even if people have probably heard it, or some people don't hear it, it's not their fault, and I'm not holding them accountable. But I'm just saying, if this was all common knowledge, why isn't the obesity rate down? Why isn't it So obviously people aren't educating themselves. Even some of the nutritionists, it doesn't matter if they're overweight or not. A nutritionist is a nutritionist, and if they don't know what they're talking about, then they're basically misinforming other people too. And it's a vicious cycle. It doesn't end. It's really sad. It's just culture doesn't want to accept it for what it is. They just want to go off the keto and the low carb. It's all a fad. All that other stuff is a fad. You're restricting carbohydrates, but Durian Ryder said, you see all these carb restricted people, and they go crazy, and they want to bind, then they eventually crash, and then they go to the resorty. They resort to sugars eventually, but in the wrong form. Sugar, it depends on the combination of the sugar. Fatty foods and sugar don't mix. They just don't. They really don't. It's just a fact. For some people it may not matter, but still, you gotta watch your fat intake, even on a vegan lifestyle. It's just the way it is, and because I've seen obese vegans, and what I'm seeing, there is such a thing as vegan junk food, and it's just crazy to me. You know what I mean? It's just, if you can still eat wrong on a vegan lifestyle, don't get me wrong, you can definitely 100%. But that's why you gotta lower the fat and just eat lean foods like fruit. Rice. Save the rice for the end of the day. That's your savory food. But during the day, you should be mostly eating fruit. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I get my savory cravings too. But if I do, I want to cut out that sodium, because sodium causes water retention, which can make it appear as you being bigger. But it's just the way it is. But, this is pretty much everything I wanted to speak about. You can look up, like I said, look up all the list of the mental illnesses. Every single one of them is linked to higher cortisol. So if we have prolonged use of cortisol, like I said before, it can treat all these symptoms and virtually make them disappear. if it's done long enough and correctly, is what I'm saying. If you just have to get the regimen down, that's it, and you'll be set. I mean, yeah, you'll be labeled in the medical world as this illness, but you can definitely treat your symptoms naturally. I just really strongly believe that. It's just, the pharmaceutical companies is a $1 billion industry for a reason, is because it's so easily, it's just accepted in society as or normalized. So that's basically what I'm saying. So that's why it's easy for people to go to that pharmaceutical industry. They make billions of dollars because of the way they're marketing it. I mean, it can help you treat this and that and all your problems. But, there's nasty little symptoms that come with all that stuff too. But it's just not worth it, man. Like, I've been researching my stuff on my own time, and I'm just finding out all this stuff slowly. I'm learning the tricks of everything and how things work. So just research for yourself and you'll see what I'm saying. But that's being said, that's all I had to say.